Are the Khoi and San the first indigenous people of South Africa? And how has the death of the fifth remaining speakers of the Khomani San language impacted this community? Is the Pan-South African Language Board doing enough to preserve and promote the San language? And what prompted the recent Human Rights Commission's investigations on the Khoisan nation? What time is it? It is question time. Welcome to Question Time. My name is Mpho Tsedu. One of the last speakers of the Khomani San language, or Mu, popularly known as Ouma Magrieta, was recently laid to rest at Upington in the Northern Cape. There are now only 4 people in the whole world who can speak the language, estimated to be around 25,000 years old. Meanwhile, the Khoisan community want to be recognized as the first people in the Constitution. During their submissions at the recent Human Rights Commission hearings in Gauteng, they also complained about being marginalized and continue to be denied land ownership and basic services. Today we ask, why is the Khoi and San language not part of the country's official languages? Reminder that we are live, therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial is 0891104210. Our Twitter handle at Question Time 24. My guest today, John van Rooyen, who is the chairperson for the Gauteng Khoisan Council. And from Pretoria Studios, we have NG Nechiheni, who is the head of National Language Bodies, the NLBs at Pan-SALB. And on the line, we have Martin Edberg, who is the program manager for XKFM Radio. And let me welcome all of you to Question Time today. But before we get into today's discussion, let's take a look at XKFM Radio that broadcasts from the Northern Cape.
Burang dan wakulimagati igi takwa kalatu kwasaka dan dagiga tudak kamakwen eli yang kwan aja falama viko makenur besikuna desbo mahono kaging amada king olinga nging got mina bongo kanga dream theater ma yunrandi igi amada ahanan.
Let me once again welcome you. Martin, perhaps if I may just start with you, the language that is spoken there on XKFM, is it just one single language, and perhaps what was being said earlier there?
I'm Martin Edberg, the station the program manager. Ons taal is 2 verskillende tale, die Khoi en die Khoi. En dit is ons huistaal waarmee ons praat. En ons stasie was begin in jaar 2000, 18 Augustus. Die gemeenskap het probleem gehad wanneer die taal begin uitsterf. En hulle het daar opsie gekry by die radio, waar hulle het gesien dat radio sal 'n goeie tool wees. En die radio kan die taal bewaar, en die radio kan die taal onderhou vir die kinders, vir die toekoms vir die kinders.
Nou, kan jy vir ons asseblief vertaal wat hulle gesê het daarso?
Hulle het gepraat oor die bank se issue, die geld sakkie wat so verander, het hulle gepraat.
Oh, okay. Hou net aan vir ons, dat ons sal vorentoe gaan net nou. Perhaps, if I may just switch back to English. You had a forum with the Pan-SALB as well and the Human Rights Commission. Let's just talk briefly about that.
Mpho, thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. The Gauteng Khoi and San Council in April 2015 marched to the Human Rights Commission let's just talk about them.
Yes.
And we handed over a memorandum. And in the memorandum, we then indicated or we highlighted some of the issues that you have raised. Recognition of the Khoi and San people as the first indigenous people of South Africa. And also we've raised the issue of the languages of the San, the Khoi, and the Nama that has not been included as part of the official languages. And secondly, the only thing in the Constitution that speaks about the San, the Khoi, and the Nama is the issue in the preamble on part 6 that speaks to the languages, which indicates that the languages of the San, the Khoi, and the Nama should be promoted, and it should then become not part of the official languages. It doesn't say that, but we need to begin to promote that.
Okay.
21 years down the line, Paul, what has happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, you know.
Okay.
And so you can see, and when we talk about marginalization of the Khoi and the San people, that's part of the marginalization process.
Okay. Perhaps let's quickly go to our Tshwane studios. Bonecheni, what do you think PanSALB's role is in as far as empowering these languages that they are complaining that they are clearly marginalized?
The constitutional mandate of PanSALB regarding the Khoi and San language is to promote these languages and also create conditions for their development. And linked to that, in terms of the PanSALB Act, PanSALB had to establish national language bodies that advise the board on matters related to development, maintenance, preservation, and any matter related to that. In addition to that, PanSALB also had to establish provincial language committees. And in terms of the establishment of the provincial language committees, the membership has to be in line with should be representative of the demographics, language demographics of each province. So in other words, in every province where the Khoi and San people are there, they should be represented in the provincial language committee. And that is the case for 6 of the provincial language committees. Then in terms of the national language body for Khoi and San languages, there are members, they are about 16 currently. No, they are about 13 because 2 passed away.
Okay.
And the members there are representative of both the Khoi communities and the San communities.
But Nacheni, do you believe that you're doing justice really to these languages?
The progress is very slow, I must say, mainly restricted by the resources given to PanSALB to cater not only for the Khoi and San languages, but for the 11 official languages, Khoi and San languages, as well as the South African Sign Language, and also to promote all languages commonly used by communities in South Africa. So it's a huge mandate.
Okay. Maybe do you want to respond to that?
Yes. When we talk about marginalization, you can clearly hear that not much has been done for the Khoi and San people. Now, as I said to you, we're fighting for constitutional recognition of the Khoi and San as the first indigenous people of South Africa. That we know, we need to get a 2/3 majority in parliament, etc. But there's only one thing in the constitution that speaks about the Khoi, the San, and the Nama, and that is with regard to the languages.
Okay.
21 years down the line, we have PanSALB talking about this, talking like this, saying that this is what we're going to do, we agree, not much has been done. Now, NG talks about the other languages as well. Those other languages are official languages. They're already recognized as official languages.
Yes.
The San, Khoi, and Nama languages are not recognized as official languages. So those languages were supposed to be promoted. They were supposed to be offered at schools, so-called colored schools, because that's where the Khoi, the San, and the Nama communities are, and all the other communities of the San and Khoi. And not much has been done. Not much has happened.
Okay. Let me just quickly, before we go to an ad break, go to Martin. Martin, you have now a situation where there's a language which is 25,000 years old. Only 4 speakers remain. Do you have any documentation of the language to preserve it going forward?
What we exactly do is we did recording the elderly people for traditional stories and the language. Then we put it in archive and store it for the kids in the future. And last year, 16 October, we was go back in Namibia where we doing recording for the people, because the Namibia people are still in traditionally, they live in traditionally. And we in South Africa, we are now in a modern life. It means we started to lose our language, we started to lose our traditional, we started to lose anything for the language. It's why we need more support. If we support comes that we can start it, write our language in the books. We have dictionary, we have anything at school, they teaching the language at school. In different workplaces, our people are employed there. It means we supply. It means our language cannot stay in Northern Cape. It can go also in far places like in different provinces.
Okay. Hold it there, Martin. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, 089-110-4210, that's the number to dial. And perhaps let's talk about, are these written languages that we're talking about? And I know the last time we talked about this, people were saying Sepulana, it's also there, Slobedu, and all those languages. Perhaps let's hear from you. 089-110-4210. This is Question Time.
Milk stout chocolate infused. Savor the moment. The crafted chocolate stout made to be savored responsibly by people over the age of 18.
We know you're out there, silently waiting for your spot in the limelight. Step up, people of the party. We need your energy, your greatness. Just because you don't do it for money doesn't make you an amateur. Yes, we salute you, party comrade, with a bottle of Johnny Walker Red Label for just $169.99 from Tops at Spa.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, John van Rooyen, who is the chairperson of the Gauteng Khoisan Council, and from our Pretoria studios we have Bu Engineer and who's the head of National Languages Bodies, that is NLBs at PanSalb. On the line we have Martin Edberg, who is the program manager for XKFM. He joins us on the line. Martin, let me just come back to you quickly there. The languages that we're talking about, are these written languages?
Our language is not written language. In this moment, the language board is starting to write it. Now, we have done with the Bible small books, but we still doing the dictionary. I think even we finish with it, then we can launch it and started to, that the kids can start to learn it in primary school, in kindergartens.
Okay.
School.
Okay. Ayanda, you're calling us from Durban. Welcome.
Hi, Mpo. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
I'm okay. Look, Mpo, I have this one question for your guest there.
Okay.
The Khoi and San, I think there must be leaders within their structures. I just want to know as to what is it that they are doing from the Khoi and San community in particular to ensure that these leaders continue to teach those who are interested. Because in my understanding, I believe that there might perhaps be those who will be interested to learn the language, but now they don't have any people who understand and who know the language, who can teach them to continue learn these languages.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much for the call. Mpo, I think just a correction also, because we say 25,000 years. If our DNA shows that we've been here between 150 to 170,000 years, then what did we speak that time? So it's probably the new language. So therefore, so it dates back to probably 150 to 170,000 years, because all languages in the world come from that language. In terms of what we are doing, in the Northern Cape, in the Kalahari, we have Ouma Magrieta there that still speaks the language, and she's teaching the little ones the language. So if you go to Upington and you go to those areas there in the Kalahari, then people are speaking the language. But when you come up here into Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, etc., then you find it's a bit difficult, and not much has been done in terms of that. So what we are saying is, Minister Angie Motshekga indicated towards the middle of last year, towards the end of last year, that the Education Department is going to promote the indigenous languages, and that indigenous languages, at least one of them, should be taught in all of the schools in South Africa. Sadly speaking, what Minister Motshekga spoke about or meant with indigenous languages was Sotho, Xhosa, Pedi, Shangaan, Zulu, etc. Not the real indigenous language of South Africa, those of the San and the Khoi. And then also, I think maybe we can't leave out Mandarin. The whole thing, the discussion about Mandarin, and yet we find that the San and the Khoi languages are still marginalized, and our people are not speaking that. Just also, there's a dictionary. So most of these languages have come together into what we call Khoisan. And there's a person by the name of Dr. Richard Kutela, and he wrote a dictionary in Afrikaans, English, Xhosa, and also in Khoisan. And that is there, but that is not being promoted. And we are asking PenSelp to assist us so that we can then promote that and bring that into all our schools in so-called colored communities.
Agri, you are in Mpumalanga.
Yeah, thanks, Bo.
You're welcome.
Right. Mpo, I'm not Khoisan. But clearly, the Khoisan, if we have to listen to history through our normal channels, learn history, study history, it's clear that the Khoisan people were here long before any of other black people were here. It's a fact. Whoever wants to deny it, it's his problem. But now, why are we, as black people, denying the Khoisan the right to be themselves? Can somebody help us to answer that question? Thank you.
Okay, let me go to Pretoria, not necessarily because I think you have the direct answer to the question, but let me just allow you to participate also in the program. The efforts to preserve this language, not just language, but languages in written form, seems like it's going to be quite a mammoth one, realizing that they're saying some of these languages are not even written as yet, Bonacheng.
I need to correct the view that says PenSelp has done nothing to promote the development of the Khoi and San languages. PenSelp has done a lot. It is just that the progress is a bit slow because we are starting from nothing. I want to start from what is happening currently and go back. Currently, both the Khoi and the San members of the NLP are in the process of developing spelling and orthography rules for these languages. Because for a language to be written, written forms have to be developed. And in addition to that, PenSALB is also in a process of recording stories. In the past, we did receive some stories written.
Okay.
And what we thought is that since the majority of people from the Khoi and San communities speak Afrikaans, it would be good to translate those stories into Afrikaans. And though the stories are written, the advice from the NLP was that these need to be revised so that the orthography that is used is an acceptable orthography for these languages.
Angie, just hold it there. Let me take a quick call from Swellendam AB.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm probably going to get into trouble now. I'm also a so-called colored. This Khoisan language, I'm just wondering why these people never speak the language and kept the language like the Xhosa and the Zulu and all the rest. I mean, now they want people to fight and to do this and that and the other. These people should learn that you fight for your thing that you want, and you should keep your thing. And when the things are coming all right, at least your language is already existing. Everybody is speaking it everywhere else, and then you don't need all this. But people always want these favors and want this and that. I mean, they should have fight for their language and they should have kept it.
Okay, AB, thank you very much. Let me ask you quickly. Sorry.
AB, I think maybe AB is raising something very important. And, a person can ask why is the Zulu language intact? Why is the Sotho languages intact, etc.? And it's as a result of, we said Bantustans was a bad thing, but perhaps Bantustans was a good thing, because if Bantustans ensured that the Zulu people and the Zulu culture and the Zulu languages are preserved up to today, and people can speak it, etc. and things, then at least that happened. That did not happen for the Khoi and San people, and that didn't happen in terms of our languages. In fact, what happened was our people were killed. Our people were hung upside down when they spoke the Nama language, when they spoke Griqua, when they spoke Khoi, etc. And that is what happened. So Afrikaans, which is also one of our languages in any case, I know, but it's not. It's also one of our languages as a Khoi and San. We can talk about that at some other time, but I know it is not a marginalized language.
Yeah, certainly
but
not.
Nama, Khoi, and San, etc. That's marginalized. So and that's what's happened. And then Afrikaans was then forced. So our people could only, our forefathers and forebearers could only speak Afrikaans.
Okay.
If they spoke Afrikaans, the Afrikaners or the settlers, whatever things, hit them, they killed them because they said you were skinnering.
Hold it. The pet very quickly. You're in Cape Town.
It's Petro Lani from the Western Cape. I just want to ask Mr. Van Rooyen, what programs do they have as the council? And what do they need to be done? I think that will help us so that we must be able to assist.
Okay, thank you very much.
Quickly, I think what we are saying is that we agree with Minister Mocheka that indigenous languages should be promoted and into schools. And not just Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Pedi, etc., but also the Khoi and San languages.
Okay.
There was an issue about the written form of the language. Most of the languages come together into Khoi, as I said earlier on. Khoi is not far from the Nama language, and the Nama language is in Namibia. So in Namibia, there's a university. It's an official language in Namibia. So it's in written form. It's in dictionaries. It's there. We just need to take that and bring it into South Africa.
Martin, what needs to be done?
Like what is, I was listening to the minister talk about the San language must promote at school. It will be also the best. Even the San language will also promote on TV, because we have radio and we have our broadcasting also in DSTV.
Okay.
But We need that it will be in news, in TV, that the people can listen about the San language.
All right, thank you very much, Martin. Bonichan, your final thoughts, please.
I want to indicate that in the Northern Cape, specifically talking to Mr. Van Rooyen's input, in the Northern Cape, Nama was taught as a project in different schools. And around 2012, 2013, PenSALP received a complaint that it has been called off, the project has been cancelled.
Okay.
We conducted a fact-finding mission, and we found this to be true. And it was very sad for us and the communities of the Khoi and San people. And I would like to emphasize this, that in different provinces where there are Khoi and San people, especially where there are speakers, parents need to encourage the schools there to start teaching the language. Because for a language to survive, you need people to speak it.
Thank you very much.
PenSALP has initiatives that promote that.
Thank you very, very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I couldn't even ask if the language is spoken in Zimbabwe, but we'll talk about that later. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.